Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking Tuesday, February 25th. I'm going to have 4 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for today's NBA betting slate. 3 of those plays are pretty juicy plus money bangers, so I am pretty excited about what we have in store for today. Unfortunately, yesterday did not go our way. I had 6 picks total, 5 that I gave out officially on this YouTube channel. And then I ended up adding my honorable mention. We were just waiting on odds. That was Isaiah Collier. Should have just left that one out. He did not cash. We were able to cash out Miles Turner over 1.5 assists. We were also able to cash out Trae Young, 12 plus assists, but we lost that Collier play. We lost Quentin Grimes. We lost Josh Giddey, and we lost LaMelo Ball. The Giddey loss really hurts because he had 5 assists at halftime. He had 6 assists early in the third quarter. But that game ended up turning into a complete and utter blowout, so we did not get that 7th assist. That one was pretty frustrating. The other 3, can't complain about. Weren't even close, just really bad looks there. But yesterday, down about 1.8 units on the day. On the entire season, that now brings our total profit. We are up about 26 units on the year, a little bit over that, which is fine. You know, it was much better last year, but unfortunately last year was last year, and we're just trying to work with what we have this year. But I'm pretty confident, again, in the 4 plays that we have today. A little bit of a lighter volume than what I have been doing most of the season, but really confident in what we have. I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me. Just remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get into today's bangers. So as always, sharing my screen here, going through Props Madness. Check out Props Madness if you have not already. I put a link to them in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. If you sign up, it would help me out a lot if you used my code MODI, M-O-D-I, all caps, just my last name. And you can also get 25% off. Anyways, let's talk Props Madness. So I don't have a play, or I should say, let's talk NBA player props. I don't have a play here in the Celtics-Raptors game. The first play that I have is in this Bucks-Rockets, and I went with Damian Lillard, and I actually took him 25 plus points. So right now, you see pretty much across the board, his main line is at 23.5. Anybody that knows me knows I love getting these plus money plays. So instead of taking the over 23.5, I just pumped it up to 1 point higher. I took 25 plus points. That was plus 114 odds at FanDuel, was the best offered price that I got. And yeah, I mean, I would much rather get 1 extra point and get plus 114 than the best offered price at minus 108 or minus 110. So that's exactly what we did here. Right off the bat, getting plus money for him to score 25 points is pretty good, considering he averages 25.5 points per game on the entire season, which obviously things go way deeper than that. But if you're telling me we can get his average and you're telling me we can get that for plus money, that's pretty good. Now, there were a couple games here that Giannis missed, like this 43 and 38 point game. Giannis didn't play. But even if you look at his stats specifically with Giannis and you look at the entire season, like we go through the entire season, it's not quite 25.5, but it's 24 points per game. So pretty close there. Scored 25 or more points in 55% of his games as well. So more often than not, he's scoring 25 or more points, even specifically games with Giannis. And what I like about this play is I really like the matchup. He's going up against the Houston Rockets, who are a pretty good matchup for Damian Lillard. As you can see here, looking at play type analysis, this is something that Props Madness does, which is really cool. It looks at where the player scores, and then it matches them up with where the defense and how they guard that play type. So the most important thing here for Damian Lillard, pick and roll ball handler, right? He gets majority of his points, about 1/3 of his points as the pick and roll ball handler. The Rockets are the second worst defense in the entire NBA guarding pick and roll ball handlers. They allow the second most points per game to the pick and roll ball handler. Now, free throws, they don't foul a ton. They don't give up a lot in transition, but they do give up a lot in isolation, which is kind of the theme of what we're going here with this play in Dame. Guys that have the ball in their hands a lot, whether it's a pick and roll or whether it's just via isolation, especially these guards that can pull up from deep, those are the guys that can have success against the Rockets. The reason why is because the Rockets don't allow basically anything to the spot up. Like if we look at spot up shooters, they give up the second fewest points per game to spot up shooters, which means that they stick to shooters and they will allow guys with the ball in their hands to beat them, but they don't really allow anything else. So that's why you see second fewest points per game to spot up, and that's also why you see most points, or second most as a pick and roll ball handler, third most via isolation. And, you know, looking at Dame, he had a rough game prior to his most recent one. So he scored 28 points prior to that. only scored 15, and he kind of had a little bit of a rougher stretch in there as well. And then prior to that, he had scored 25 in like 6 straight games. So it's kind of just the ebbs and flows of the regular season. So I like the fact that he's coming off, good game against the Heat, but prior to that, not so great of a game. And it's really just about the matchup, right? That's what we're going off here. We're going off of matchup. Dame has been good for us in these positive matchups, so I feel comfortable going with him. That's our first pick of the video. Next up, I do have a play in Suns versus Grizzlies, and I'm going with Ja Morant, and I'm also taking him to score 25 plus points as well. Now, this one is definitely a little bit of a scarier play. The odds are also way better. We got this at plus 156, I believe, was the price on Ja Morant to score 25 points. Now, if you wanted to be a little bit safer, you could take him over 22.5 at minus 104 or 21.5 at minus 135. Those are gross. If you don't want to take the 25 plus, I would go with the over 22.5 at minus 104 as opposed to the 21.5. Now, when I bet this, it was 21.5 everywhere. So the odds are moving up a little bit in favor of Ja, which is a good sign. Now, this is not one where you can look at his averages and come to any real conclusions there. Averages 20.5 points per game, averages 20.2 points per game in his last 24 games. This is all about the matchup, right? We see the reason why I like this with Ja. More often than not, when he goes over, he scores 25. Only once in this stretch has he scored between 22 and 25 points, right? He scored 23 points against the Magic. Every other game, I guess, also gets the Clippers. I did miss that earlier. But every other game, so it's 2 of them, he scored 25 or more, right? 31, 32, 28, 25, 27, 29, 25, 26, and 26. And what I really, really like here is the matchup, right? We go through Ja's and we go through his play type. Transition, where he scores the majority of his points, 1/4 of his points. The Suns' 6th worst transition defense in the entire NBA. Next up, pick and roll ball handler. If he's not scoring in transition, he's scoring off of the pick and roll. Suns, 7th worst defense guarding pick and roll ball handlers. After that, free throw line. Ja is really good at drawing contact and getting to the line. They're not quite bottom 10, but they're as close to bottom 10 as you can be. They allow the 12th most points per game via free throws. So the top 3 play types for Ja Morant, the Suns range from like bottom 6, bottom 7 to at least bottom half, which is always a good sign for Ja Morant and his points. As you can see, guys similar to Ja Morant, 9 of 15 have hit their point prop over. Now, looks like the 4 in a row missed, had a pretty gross game, and then we had a good game from Quickly last time out. And prior to that, guys were smoking the Suns. Guys that were similar to Ja Morant, and who we see bolded right here exactly 2 weeks ago when these two teams played. Ja Morant scored 26 points against the Suns. And if you look into that game, 8 of 19 from the field, it isn't amazing. He was 0 of 5 from deep. So he scored 26 points while literally going 0 of 5 from 3-point range. Now, Ja Morant is not Steph Curry. He's not going to be one that's going to shoot and make 5 3-pointers. But 0 of 5, he could do that, or he could do better than that, I should say. The reason why he was able to have such a good game was because he got to the line 12 times and made 10. Ja Morant could do that, right? He's good at drawing contact. And the Suns aren't the worst defense in terms of fouls, but they will foul. So we saw him do this 2 weeks ago. It's a really good matchup for him to do so once again. So I feel good about it. Ja Morant, 25 plus points. Pretty juicy odds here. Again, plus 156, 158 odds on that bad boy. Next up, I do have a play in Spurs Pelicans. And I went with De'Aaron Fox. I actually took him on the points, rebounds, and assists. So I got this 36.5 at minus 105. This is the exact same bet that I got. I don't know what sports bet is, but if you use sports bet, you can get it at minus 104. But minus 105 is what I took at ESPN Bet, and it's also there at BetMGM as well. Now, this is another one where it's a weird situation for Fox. He spent the majority of the season with the Kings. Then he was traded with the Spurs. Then Wemby got hurt. He's only played 3 games as a member of the Spurs without Victor Wembanyama. But he's gone over this number in 2 of those 3 games. And I like the fact that, A, he just missed. He's coming off of a pretty gross game. And it's in this same exact matchup. He literally just played the Pelicans 2 days ago. Only had a combined 25 points, rebounds, and assists. But look at all his ancillary stats in that game. So we'll start with the points. Only scored 13 points. He shot 3 of 16 from the field, and he shot 1 of 7 from deep. 19% from the field, 14% from deep is pretty terrible. You hover over the matchup, it's generally pretty good for De'Aaron Fox, right? Defensive rank versus DPT. That's how does this defense guard his play type, which you see here is transition. And we scroll down. the Pelicans are the second worst transition defense in the NBA. Now, Fox does get to the line a lot, but they don't foul a ton, but every other play type looks pretty good for Fox. And you look at the shot zone on the court. Fox likes this kind of push shot area. It's the non-restricted area of the paint, and the Pelicans don't give up a ton there. But they're terrible guarding the rim. And Fox, if he can get to the rim, he will, right? We see the second majority of his points in terms of shot on the floor is in the restricted area, and the Pelicans are the second worst defense guarding the restricted area. He also shoots about a quarter of his shots from the above the break three-pointer, and they're the 24th ranked defense, so 7th worst in terms of guarding the above the break three-pointer. And you hover over the matchup, again, defensive rating, they're the second worst. Points in the paint allowed, which is important because Fox, like almost 60% of his points come in the paint. Second most points in the paint allowed. So the points looks really good for Fox, and he hit it in 2 of the 3 games. The 1 game he missed, again, he shot horribly. We go to the assists, another play that I really, really like for De'Aaron Fox. I was really close to just taking his assists straight up, which if you do that, I wouldn't blame you. It's over 6.5 at plus 105. It's the best offered price. Reason why I really like that, again, it's only been 3 games without Wemby, and he's only hit it in 1 of 3. So you're saying that doesn't sound that great. Well, look at his potential assists, right? He averages 14 potential assists in these 3 games. His season average is just under 12. And look at his last game. He had 5 assists on 17 potential assists. That's right. 5 assists on 17 potential assists. That is a terrible, terrible assist ratio. And that is not something that even the worst teams in the world are going to convert at a better rate than this 5 of 17. The matchup is really, really good. The Pelicans give up the 5th most assists overall, and they give up the 6th most assists specifically to point guards. And we look at this. This is like not a shot zone, an assist zone here. 36% of Fox's assists come in the paint, in the restricted area. Again, second worst defense guarding that. 30% of his assists come from the above the break three-pointer. They're the 5th worst defense guarding that. So where the defense is bad at guarding assists is where De'Aaron Fox gets a lot of his assists. So I love his assists straight up as well. And then from the rebounds perspective, it's both a good matchup and he's been really good. His over-under rebounds is 4.5. Granted, it's juiced to the gills to the over, but he's gotten 5 rebounds in every single game without Wemby. And look at his chances. He averages 12.5, just under, rebound chances per game without Wemby as a member of the Spurs. His season average is 8, so over 4 rebound chances per game more. Again, it's only 3 games, but it's only 3 games without their best rebounder. And look at these games. I mean, 9 rebounds on 16 rebound chances. 5 rebounds on 6 rebound chances. So we're hoping for more than 6. But then last game, 7 rebounds on 15 rebound chances. Amazing, amazing stats. Those are all 3. That was his points, his assists, and his rebounds. So I figured, even though I really like the assists, I figured why not just combine them, right? That seems to be the safest. He could easily score 25 or more points. He could easily get, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, right? Obviously, that gets us well over the PRA that we need to cash this one. So that's what I went with. I went with the PRA. I like the points and assists a lot, and the rebounds, he's just been really good. So I figured why not combine them. That's our third play. And then our fourth and final pick of the video. We're heading to this Mavericks versus Lakers game. And I am actually going with Max Christie. Another juicy prop here. I took him 15 plus points. This was at plus 176 odds at FanDuel. And you could also get it at plus 195 at Hard Rock. Hard Rock isn't readily available to most people, so I didn't want to track that because if you can't get it, it's kind of pointless. Whereas FanDuel, everybody can get that. So Max Christie, if you wanted to be safe, you could take his main line over under 11.5 at minus 120. Most books have it at minus 130 or worse. And Flip is giving you 12.5 at minus 115. That's not a good value either. I honestly just said, why not go to 15 plus? So Max Christie used to play for the Lakers, now plays for the Mavericks. So right off the bat, if you're into the revenge narrative, that could be possible. Now, I don't necessarily think that the biggest revenge factor in Mavericks versus Lakers is Max Christie going up against the Lakers. It's obviously Luka Doncic going against the Mavs. And if Anthony Davis was playing, it would be the opposite. But if you buy into any revenge narrative, there you go. He used to play for the Lakers. The reason why I like this one is so he was traded his first game as a member of the Mavericks is this Sixers game right here. So he's played 8 games as a member of the Mavericks. Look at how the first 7 games went. 15, 15, 23, 15, 17, 19, 16. 15 points in literally all of the first 7 games as a member of the Mavericks. And look at his minutes played. 32, 30, 33, 35. That was with overtime. 39, 39, and 32. Played 30 minutes in all 7 of those games. And there was kind of a mishmash of players in and out of the lineup. Like we see this first game, no AD, no PJ Washington. Same thing with his second game. Third game, all those guys played. The whole team played. AD, Kyrie, PJ Washington. Next game, no AD, no PJ, no AD, no PJ. But this time, PJ was back, but no AD, no Kyrie. Or no, sorry, all 3 of them were missing. And then this last game, AD is going to be out for a while, but PJ and Kyrie were back in this game, scored 16 points. Now, the most recent game that he played was disgusting, right? 22 minutes, only scored 2 points, was 1 of 5 from the field. Just a gross game. The Mavericks were down by like 30 points in the second quarter in this game. They were just completely blown out from the jump. So nobody on the Mavericks had a good game in this one, and that also was Max Christie. But I love the fact that his first 7 games, he played 30 minutes, scored 15 points, and then he's coming off of a disgusting game. I just think that the odds have dropped a little too far for Max Christie because of this one bad game. Now, if he's only going to play 22 minutes moving forward, then yeah, that's bad. That's not what we're looking for. But that's not something that I see happening. As a member of the Mavericks, you look at his field goal attempts, he's taken about 10.5 per game. His season average is about 7. So obviously taking way more shots. Every game, I mean, we see 8 shots, 13, 10, 10, 12, 19, 7, and then only 5. So like this is obviously the clear outlier. Obviously we're hoping for more than 7. Like he's not going to go 6 of 7 and 2 of 3 from deep very often. But like, I mean, 19 is probably an outlier too, but like 12, 10, that's well within the realm of possibilities for Max Christie. In terms of the matchup is not good. It's not bad either. We see like everywhere he scores, the Lakers are mostly average at. Like spot up, average. Cut, we don't have any data. They don't give up a ton to the pick and roll, but they're bad against transition and isolation. Some places they're good, some places they're bad. It's an average matchup. Really what we're doing here is I'm just playing, it's fate of recent results, right? I'm playing the fact that he had an awesome stretch when he first was with the Mavericks, and he's coming off of a terrible game, and I just kind of want to bounce back from there. So Max Christie, 15 plus points is our 4th and final official pick of the video. I only have one honorable mention that I really, really thought about betting, but didn't bet. But I figured I would tell you guys about it if you just want to lock it in. It's Scotty Barnes on the rebounds. Over 7.5 at plus 124 is a pretty good price. He averages about 8 per game. He's gone over in 14 of his last 24 games, so that all looks good. He's hit it in 4 of his last 5 after missing in 4 straight games. It's a decent matchup against the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics bomb threes, and these players are guys that predominantly rebound off of 3-pointers. And it's kind of interesting, like Scotty Barnes, 13 in one game, 3 in the next. Josh Hart, 8 in one game, 11 in the next. And then Giddey, 8 in one game, 4 in the next. And then Amen Thompson had 9 on an over-under of 9.5. That was brutal. I actually bet that, so I know just how well that one missed. I just couldn't quite get there, and I didn't want to force a play just for the sake of having one. But I do think that a lot of stuff looks good for the Scotty Barnes rebounds prop. So if you wanted to lock that in, I wouldn't blame you. But that is all we got. So 4 official bangers for you guys to lock in, along with the 1 honorable mention. I only bet the 4, just to be very clear. I didn't bet the Scotty Barnes one. Just to recap, we got De'Aaron Fox over 36.5 points, rebounds, assists. We got Damian Lillard, 25 plus points. We got Ja Morant, 25 plus points. And we got Max Christie, 15 plus points. Let's hope to have a better day today than we had yesterday. Appreciate everybody who's watched. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and then check out the links in the description of the video. I put a link to Props Madness, which I already talked about, and then the other one that I have in there is a link to my Dub Club. It's only $5 a month, and if you're unfamiliar, Dub Club is just a service you can sign up for to have plays texted to you from people like me, get sent directly to your phone. I only charge $5 a month because it's the same plays that you see me give out for free on YouTube and on Twitter. You just get them early. So if you want to lock stuff in before odds change, or you don't always want to watch the YouTube videos or don't always have time, but you still want to tail, that's when I point people to the Dub Club. Again, I only charge $5 a month. It's a cup of coffee. If you're not interested, no problem. You can still get everything for free on YouTube and on Twitter. But that is all we got. Everybody bet responsibly and have a good one.